Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here today. Radio amateurs voluntarily and without compensation regularly provide important public services, especially emergency and disaster-related support communications when commercial infrastructure has been destroyed by a hurricane, forest fire, or similar disaster. In 2013, radio amateurs petitioned the FCC to delete an obsolete rule that limits the speed with which they can transmit digital messages. Although the Commission agreed in 2016, in a 2016 notice, that the obsolete rule should be deleted, and although it also waives the rule when hurricanes or other disasters threaten, the rule still exists. We are the only country in the world that has a data limit of this type. As you may know, I have twice introduced a bill that directs the Commission to replace the data limit with a bandwidth limit. This would allow radio amateurs to engage in modern data communications and increase efficient use of their spectrum. Chairwoman and any other members that want to answer, when can we expect the Commission to act on this matter? Or will it be necessary for me to pass my legislation to get the Commission to act on this, what I think is a simple matter?
Well, I appreciate you giving voice to amateur radio. It's important for hobbyist use, but as you mentioned, it can be also used in emergencies, and we've seen lots of demonstrations of people doing just that and really helping out. So we had this petition a while ago, and it's about amateur radio and how it is a shared use, so that we have some restrictions on how amateur radio hobbyists can use it. Some of those involve a symbol rate, some involve a bandwidth restriction, and there's a lot of conflict in our record about how we should update those. But as you mentioned, we last did a rulemaking on this, and I think it was 2016 or 2017, and I think we should refresh that record so that we can move ahead and maybe get to this issue before you have to introduce some additional legislation.
Microphone.
Do you have any estimated timeline on this? Because, as you know, there are hundreds in my district alone of amateur radio operators, and I've gone to some of these emergency training events where they help hospitals, and I think they're very vital. And this seems, from what they described to me, to be a simple and logical change, and I was wondering what your estimated timeline is on this.
Well, the thing is that the record that we have on it is stale, and the old record, there was a lot of divide about exactly what changes should be made to the bandwidth restrictions here. So I think we're going to have to update that and then get back to you. I wish I could give you an estimate without updating it, but I think the right thing to do is to update that record.
And do any of the other commissioners have a comment on if we should do this?
Yes, Congresswoman. I had a number of friends in the amateur relay, radio relay league who sent me copies of your introduced legislation with big smiley faces on them and such. It's I think this is been very well received by the community. Obviously, the whole concept of a baud rate is a little bit outdated. I don't want to be precipitate on how best to reflect how best to update the record. I think the chairwoman is proposing the right approach, but this is certainly something we should take seriously.
Well, if you did what is complementary to my legislation, you would have thousands of people that would be very happy. And with that, I yield back.